So, Mr. President, we have been looking at, like I said, we'll start off with the Ambazonia Independence Manifesto. But I wanted to read out something in the manifesto before I come into some questions for you, Mr. President. Because when I went through this manifesto, it is so rich. I was just reading and smiling. I'm like, oh my God, Ambazonia got it all. AGOVC, they have it all within the organization to pull all of this. But what I wanted to just pick out is the beauty of the manifesto, the project in itself. Like I always hear Eduk Seg who said, this is the sovereign project for Ambazonia. And when you read this, you can truly say for a fact that it is indeed the sovereign project. So here it says that the manifesto is divided into 3 parts, and I love the way it's covered. So I'll just read it for the audience to just have a brief understanding of what this manifesto is about before I come into asking you questions for more clarity, Mr. President. So it says, it is divided in 3 parts. So, but what does it say? It says what we have suffered. He said in this section, this section would detail various forms of oppression, injustices inflicted upon the Ambazonian people by La République du Cameroon. It highlights the illegal occupation, the political subjugation, economic exploitation, cultural assimilation, and human rights violations perpetrated against Ambazonia. Then the historical context provided underscores the legitimacy of Ambazonian struggle for independence. And it goes further to say our right to life, liberty, and happiness. In this section asserts the inherent right of Ambazonian people to freedom, sovereignty, self-governance, and it invokes international law and resolutions such as the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 1514, which affirms the right of all people to self-determination. The declaration emphasizes that Ambazonian people have a natural and inalienable right to establish their sovereign state free from occupation and tyranny of La République du Cameroon. And so what is our vision? It says, finally, the section outlines the founding principles and vision for an independent Ambazonia. It details the purpose, system of governance based on democratic traditionalism, republicanism, distributive federalism, and national unity. The manifesto envisions the society founded on the pillar of freedom, the rule of law, peace, and the just common good. This is beautiful. And this is just part of this is how beautiful this has been structured, Mr. President. So before I come to ask you questions on this, what do you have to say in general terms about this manifesto before I pick out specific questions to ask you on this issue of the independent manifesto, Mr. President?
First, what is a manifesto? It's very important for people to understand what a manifesto is. And, you know, we've been fighting this struggle. People have been making several arguments. The strategies we've been putting in place, the declarations we have been making, people have somehow believed they were conjectures or they were simply being conjured. They were rooted in historical facts. They were rooted in a vision. So we've captured all of these declarations, statements of facts, practices, customs, and we've put them in what I call a declaration of principles or the aims that underscore the reason for which we fight. Right. And as you've laid out, that is in 3 sections, it's very important. The struggle has been based simply on section 1, what we fight against. And so in building this manifesto, we simply want to take the people beyond what you fight against to start understanding what you are gaining, what you are going to gain if you succeed in this war. The long-term sustainability of our resistance will not be based on what we are against, but it will be based on what we stand for. And there is a particular part of the manifesto which is very important. I think you've just read part of it, which is the foundational principles.
Yeah.
Yes. So our manifesto is our journey from oppression to freedom, and the tools we will need to navigate that journey. And if our people understand it, our commitment to our struggle is not going to be based on my attitude. It's not going to be based on my position. It's going to be based on our common understanding of our past and a common belief in our future.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. President. You've literally captured almost all the questions I'd hoped to ask, but I will stay in for the purpose of clarity so that some people who maybe didn't catch the start of your explanation can really have a detailed understanding on this. So I know you've said that this is how Ambazonia we hope to govern Ambazonia as it has been spelled out in the manifesto. But then, what inspired the creation of this independent manifesto? And these key principles and their key principles and objectives, what actually brought the inspiration? Is it what La Republique has done to us? Is it after studying governance of different countries? Or is it just the dream Ambazonia that you have always hoped for? And so what was really the inspiration behind this, its key principles and objectives, Mr. President?
All of the things that you have just said. All right. Of the things. There is an assumption, a reductionist assumption, that situates Ambazonian opposition to injustice and oppression to the last 60 years. And that reductionist assumption undermines what I have stated in the past few weeks of Ambazonian resistance to oppression and injustice more than 100 years ago. And I have argued that